Time once again for the Week 5 edition of Barry and Bruschi brilliantly babble, bloviate, and brainstorm about buzzworthy booms and bust. Boom shakalaka. All right, Teddy.
Yes.
We've got some great matchups this week where some amazing defenses are going to be playing some high-octane offenses. Let's start with the Chiefs and Jaguars. Kansas City's been nothing short of terrific, but now they play Jacksonville. And let's start with Kareem Hunt, who looked great on Monday night. But the Jags.
Yeah, looked great on Monday night. I think with Miles Jack and Telvin Smith, those two linebackers, Kareem Hunt, I think, is going to be tough to get a lot of points this week. Now, linebackers see those type of running back challenges, and we want to go all over the field, Matthew, just to stop this guy so they don't do it to him. And Kareem Hunt running people over the way he was, they don't want that to happen. So I'm going to say Kareem Hunt, a little bit slower scoring of a day.
You're probably still starting him, but maybe lower expectations.
Yeah, I'd start him. You have to. I mean, he's one of those guys, too. If Mahomes scrambles around, he may get out in the flat and throw some passes to him and things like that. But I think those two linebackers in Jacksonville are going to be motivated this week.
There's no question about that. All right, so since the start of last year, no team in the NFL has allowed fewer deep completions than the Jacksonville Jaguars. But not all wide receivers are built like Tyreek Hill.
Right.
And he should line up a lot more outside, especially with Sammy Watkins maybe not playing in this game. What do we expect about Tyreek Hill, especially against Boye and Ramsey?
Great corners, great defense, but I just don't think there's a way to stop Tyreek Hill and from getting his production in terms of even Andy Reid, the way he calls plays, Matthew, he is going to have Tyreek Hill in the middle of the field, in the flat, getting the reverses, jet sweeps, all of those things, and even one-on-one or with a safety. It's going to be hard to guard him as long as Patrick Mahomes is able to extend the plays like he did so well on Monday night. It's going to be impossible for him for those two corners to stop the production.
And you mentioned Mahomes. Any concerns about him? Traveling on a short week, going against Jacksonville, but there's not a quarterback hotter in the NFL.
And I was looking for any type of mental weakness with Mahomes, in that game, and I didn't. I mean, if anything, you might have thought he was a front runner in scoring all the touchdowns. What happens when he's down? He showed he's got moxie. He can do a lot of things. I have no doubt that he'll continue to be that way.
All right, let's move on to Philadelphia and Minnesota. A rematch of last year's championship game here. Great defense, great offense. How do you see the Eagles attacking Minnesota? What intrigues you the most about Philly's offense on Sunday?
Watching them, I start to see once the quarterback change happened, who does Wentz selectively throw the football to? And he loves his tight ends in terms of not only Zach Ertz, but also Dallas Goedert. I mean, you're talking a lot of targets the last 2 weeks. 40% of his completions, his targets are going to the slot, specifically those tight end positions. So that's what he likes, the flavor of the month with Carson Wentz right now to get himself going. I think that continues. And any type of scheming that Doug Peterson can make in terms of getting those linebackers like a Anthony Barr or a Kendricks, whoever may be in there against those two big athletic tight ends, that's where your success is going to be.
Think about this. Since returning, Wentz has targeted tight ends on 41% of his pass attempts.
Absolutely.
And the Vikings have given up the fourth most receiving yards to the slot this season. And obviously we see Ertz and Goddard, for the most part, line up in the slot. So they should be successful on Sunday. All right, let's move from these games to games where we don't expect any defense to happen, and that's the Steelers and Falcons. You know, I think people were a little bit concerned about Ben last week. Didn't have a great game. It's been a little bit, given his relatively lofty standards, it's been a slow start to the season for Antonio Brown. Is this a game where they get right?
Well, this is a game where this is what players do. After the first quarter of the season, you start looking at yourself over the course of the month. How did I do production-wise? I mean, even for myself, okay, am I leading the team in tackles? Did I get to the quarterback yet? Did I get a sack? Anything like that that I need to fill the stat sheet up and produce, right? So I think Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, this takes scheme and everything out of it. They're going to get together and say, we've had a slow month. It's time to pick it up. That type of mentality, and I think with that defense they're going up against, Antonio Brown has a huge day.
Other side of the ball, Falcons should get Devontae Freeman back this weekend. How does that affect Atlanta's attack?
I hope it doesn't, because I mean he's a very skilled player, and they want to get him going also. But who do you stop? Who do you take it away from? Because they're doing so well. You still want Matt Ryan to be the player that he can be, and throwing it to all those skilled receivers. Do you sacrifice that to get a player going that hasn't been there? That's the decision you'll have to make in terms of what is their sort of motivation this game? Do we get the running game going again, or do we just keep slinging it in the air?
The over-under in this game is 57 points. Give me Freeman, give me Coleman, give me Mo Sanu, give me Calvin Ridley, Julio.
Let's start
everyone.
everybody.
Austin Hooper, like anyone, like Dan Quinn. Can I start him in a coaches league? Like anyone. Give me everyone I can in Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Thank you very much, Teddy. Once again, this has been another edition of Barry and Bruschi brilliantly babble, bloviate, and brainstorm about buzzworthy booms and busts. Boom, shakalaka.